How can focused browsing help you to be a more effective teacher in the classroom? Students today are not much different than what we saw in the 1900s. Students are still riding the school bus. Many students are still learning within the four walls of the building and still require to learn the basic competencies. What has drastically changed is the tools that are used to create the learning environment that facilitates learning, specifically with regards to the 21st century skills. To help nurture the learning, Hapara has created a feature within its platform that allows for students and teachers to communicate their learning, develop critical thinking skills, foster creativity while working in a collaborative setting. Focused browsing is useful in navigating the wide array of tools that are useful in the classroom. Many of us have used this feature as a form of policing, but it is so much more than that. According to John Hattie's revolutionary book, Visible Learning, developing student-teacher relationships that are high performance involves showing that you truly care for the student while pressing them to excel. Throughout this process, we are creating opportunities for formative assessment while enriching student learning. Teachers can use the focused browsing option without feeling like they are policing their students. When planning for a substitute teacher, you can plan your session in advance. With the duplicating function, you can set this up at the beginning of the year, duplicate the session, and edit when you are preparing for a substitute. Your sub will not have to be monitoring what sites students are on. Your lesson plan will run smoothly, and your substitute will appreciate that they do not have to be a tech guru when in your classroom. Yes, to some people it may be a form of policing. However, to the substitute, it is a form of classroom management. When developing your classroom with differentiated instruction in mind, creating groups with focused browsing will provide the students with the ability to move through the work at their own pace, and once completed, the teacher can then move them to another station based on their skill and comprehension level. Providing the steps in a paced format will help to reduce distractions as well as reduce the amount of stress a student may feel when they see all the work that has to be completed by a certain deadline. Focused browsing is useful in challenging your students by providing time constraints. Giving students an allotted amount of time before being moved to the next workstation or mini lesson is promoting time on task. This time and classroom management strategy will help to foster student learning and engagement. By preparing paced classwork, teachers avoid dead times so that students can stay involved in the task and provide efficient transitions without disrupting the learning process. It's time now to set up your first focused browsing session. Once on Dashboard, select Manage Classes and click on the class you are planning the focused browsing session for. From this screen, select Highlights and then click on the Schedule tab. Once on the Scheduled Browsing Session page, click on the Add Session field. A new pop-up will display, providing you with a field to add the web addresses you want your students to have access to. You will need to indicate who will be on this session. Next, toggle the Focused Browsing switch, allowing you to enter details for the session. Now you will indicate if students will be allowed to access certain pages or other pages on the site, the time limit for this session, what you want to happen when the session is finished, and finally the date and time the system is to initiate the browsing session. Finish by clicking on Schedule for the class. To edit a session that has been set up, click on the pencil and change the necessary information. To duplicate the session, select the plus sign and select the new date and time. You can add more sites, edit the length of time, as well as other specifics to the new session. To change the name of the session, click on the Name field and enter the new name. To delete the session, simply click on the garbage can. In this session, we have looked at ways that you can use focused browsing in the classroom, as well as how to initiate, edit, and delete sessions. Just as every classroom is different in structure, every teacher will use focused browsing in a way that is specific to their class needs. Hopefully, you will be able to use some of these suggestions in the near future. And remember, focused browsing is not about policing your students' internet session, but instead it provides opportunities for formative assessment while enriching student learning. If you have any questions about this topic, feel free to message me on Twitter. Be sure to check out Hapara's website at www.hapara.com to find out other great ways this valuable instructional management suite can help you.